Hi, my name is Chance, and I'm the operations manager here at Oregon Paddle Sports.
Hi, my name is Jarryd, and I am the lead repair at Oregon Paddle Sports. Today we are going to be showing you how to repair a PVC urethane boat. When trying to find the hole on your boat, you're going to want to take a bottle of soapy water and begin spraying over the entire raft until you find where there is air that leaks out. You'll start seeing bubbles appear. Once you locate the bubbles and where the leak is, you want to take a pencil or a Sharpie or a marker and mark the area so you know where the leak is coming from. Now that we have it marked, we can dry off this area. And if you find yourself out on the river with a small leak in your boat, for a quick fix, you can try using Jarryd. It acts as a adhesive tape that will cover up small leaks and get you through your trip. For a more long-term patch, though, you're going to want to use a PVC vinyl material. Before we get started on our patch, we want to make sure that we have all the materials needed. We want to make sure that we have a bottle of soapy water to identify our leak. We'll also need acetone or rubbing alcohol, which will be used to clean the surface of the boat and the patching material. For the patch, we want to make sure that we have MEK, which will act as a primer to soften the boat and the patching material. For our glue, we will be using a urethane and vinyl PVC cement. We want to make sure that we have a respirator for when we're operating with the chemicals and putting on the patch. Making sure that you have the proper hand protection while using the chemicals. We will also have scissors for cutting out the patch. You also need a roller rasp, which will be used to roll out any air bubbles on your patch. We have the sandpaper, which will be used to roughen up the patch and the boat before putting any glue on. And we also have this marker, which is for outlining your patch or identifying the leak before putting the patch on. When you cut your patch, you want to make sure that you have no sharp edges, preferably circular in nature. Also, you want to make sure that the patch is large enough to cover 2 inches past the hole in all directions. Once you have your patch cut, make sure you lay it over the center of the hole, and now you want to take a pencil or a Sharpie and mark around the patch so you know where you will be gluing. Now that we have the patch marked where we're going to lay it, we want to take the sandpaper and roughen up the boat and the patch. You want to have a nice rough surface, but making sure you don't go through this outer layer of the boat. Make sure that you get all the way around the circle to allow for the best adhesion with the boat and the patch. Once we are ready to start prepping the patch to be glued on, we want to start with using some rubbing alcohol or acetone to rub and clean off the surface of the patch, as well as making sure you clean off the surface on the boat. Now that we have the patch and boat cleaned and ready for MEK, we will start with a thin layer on the patch, making sure that we evenly apply and allowing to dry for up to 5 minutes to let fully soak in and evaporate. Now that the first layer of MEK is dried, we're going to apply a second layer to the patch and the boat. Again, just making sure that we don't put too much and it's a nice thin layer evenly spread across both of them. The MEK is allowing to soften the material and acts as a primer for when we put the glue on. Now that the second layer of MEK is dried, we will begin by putting on the first layer of urethane glue. Again, we want to make sure that we are not putting on too much, a nice even coat all the way around, not very thick. When applying the glue, again, making sure we're putting a nice even layer all the way around. And by having this outline, it allows me to know exactly how far out I need to go to ensure that we get enough glue for the entire patch without going too far past. Again, you want to go right up to the edge, maybe even just past, to make sure that the entire patch has adhesive on it. Now that we've allowed the patch to dry for roughly 10 minutes, you can put your knuckle to it, and if it feels slightly tacky, that is all right as long as you do not get any glue on your finger. Once we've determined that the first layer of glue is dry enough, we can start by putting on the second layer. Again, we just want to make sure that it is a nice even layered coat that is not too thick all the way around the entire patch. Once the patch begins to feel tacky and the glue is dried for at least 10 minutes, you can lay the patch onto the boat. If for some reason you find yourself to have allowed the glue to sit too long, you can reactivate with a little bit of MEK. If you are at home, you also have the option of reactivating with a heat source. But in the field, we want to make sure that we put the patch down while still slightly tacky to allow for the best adhesion. Ensuring that your boat is on a nice flat surface will allow, when you lay the patch, to help prevent from any type of air bubbles. So we want to lay it down just as smooth and as flat as possible, using this roller to roll from different angles to allow to make sure that there's no air bubbles in there. Make sure to roll around all the edges to get a good adhesive to the boat. Now that your patch is laid and you have it glued down, you want to make sure that you allow your boat to sit for at least 12 hours without rolling it or adding any significant air to make sure that the patch has the best adhesion to the boat. Once you've allowed your patch to sit for at least 12 hours, you can now inflate to see if there is still any leaks. By taking the soapy water and spraying around the patch, it will allow us to check to see if there is any air coming and seeping out. You will see bubbles appearing if there is any significant leaks around the edges of the patch. Once your patch is good to go, and if you find any extra residue or glue around the edge, you can use acetone or a little bit of MEK on a rag to then wipe and clean off. Thank you for watching our video on PVC vinyl patching. Please come visit our store, Oregon Paddle Sports, here in Eugene, Oregon. And if you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you very much.